Hey guys, and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be talking about two very exciting new releases from Dior that I have been testing for the past week. And this is the new Dior Forever Skin Veil SPF 20 primer and the new cushion powder from Dior. You've already seen the cushion powder and I shared with you my fast impressions, but now that I had some time to test really the powder and the primer. So I have been wearing the powder for the past 10 days and I have been testing the primer for the past 7 days. So in this video I'm going to share with you my thoughts and I'm going to give you a full review of these two products. If you're new, welcome. I love talking about luxury beauty and fragrances and I do my best to show you the latest luxury beauty news and releases, and I like to share with you my honest opinions. If that sounds interesting, please make sure to join our lovely beauty community by subscribing. I would love to have you as part of our beauty community. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram and check out my blog at angelavanrose.com. If you're returning, welcome back, dear friends. You already know, if you've been following me on Instagram, that I have been testing this new primer. So I have been wearing it for the past 7 days. I want to start with the primer because I've already shown you and I already shared with you my fast impressions about the powder. The powder is absolutely stunning, but let's start with the primer. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm not a huge fan of primers and I usually try to stay away from primers. First of all, because my skin is quite sensitive, and second of all, I like when my foundations actually do a great job and I don't need to use primer. And very often I find that primers tend to clog pores a little bit. So I always try to use minimal makeup. I don't really enjoy using primers. However, this one really grabbed my attention because this is actually a skin veil and it's supposed to have some skincare benefits. It's supposed to correct, illuminate and moisturize the skin. Now it has SPF 20, but still I wouldn't recommend using this instead of your SPF. So always use your dedicated SPF and don't rely on the SPF that's in foundations, primers or other products. You should and you must always use a dedicated SPF if you want to keep your skin young and nice. The reason why I decided to try this primer actually is because it's enriched with floral extracts and I thought it's going to be something really interesting. It promises 24 hours of hydration, 24 hours of comfort on the skin. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Dior Forever foundations. I used to love the previous version of the Dior Forever foundation, but they discontinued it and then they released the matte and the glowy. The matte is way too matte for me. I don't like it. The glowy is way too glowy for me and I don't like it. So that's why I don't have the Dior Forever foundations. I tried them when they were released. I didn't like them. So today I'm going to be wearing this primer with some other products. So let me just take my hair back so that you can see better. This side is with the primer and this side is without the primer. So you're not going to see much of a difference because also right here in natural light, I don't see much of a difference. If I get really close into a magnifying mirror, I'm going to see that some of my pores are blurred. Definitely it gives some kind of a blurring effect, but not too much. It's nothing too obvious and it definitely gives glow. So now I'm going to go ahead and just apply a little bit more on the other side of my face. And I'm probably applying way too much, but it's very sheer actually. Okay, so there we have it all over my face, and I want to show you also, I applied the primer also on this hand, and I want to show you the difference because on my hands it's probably going to be more visible. The difference is probably going to be more visible, how this hand catches the light a little bit more than this one. This one feels quite dry. So I think this is an outstanding primer, but is it absolutely necessary? No, I don't think that this is something essential, so it depends on your budget. If you want to have a good primer that is going to add moisture to your skin, then go for it, try it. But it's not something absolutely essential. It's not something that is going to change your life. It's not something, it has a very light floral scent, which I absolutely love and enjoy. The scent of this primer is really light and I feel it right after applying the primer, but then probably a few minutes later I don't even feel it. So even if you're sensitive to fragrances, if you're very sensitive to fragrances, you're definitely not going to like it, because as any Dior product, it has fragrance, but the fragrance is absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love the fragrance. So sometimes when I have a good skin day, I would use only this primer and then add some powder, and I feel like that's enough, but it doesn't really do much about blurring. It adds moisture, it adds glow, and if you're suffering from dry and dehydrated skin, I think you're going to enjoy this primer. Now, I think that right now that is the winter, and our skin is exposed to extreme conditions outside, and then also the central heating, air conditioning, all that kind of things. They make the skin feel and look a little bit dry, a little bit exhausted. So I think this is an excellent product for this time of the year. I'm happy with my purchase, but I don't think that I'm going to be repurchasing this product because it's not essential for me. Yes, it is suitable for all skin tones. It definitely, my skin feels a lot more moisturized when I'm wearing this primer. I like the foundations that I have, so it doesn't really make a huge difference on my foundations. I think that it's a good primer if you like using matte foundations that are a little bit drying and that feel a little bit drying. I think this is an excellent product to use with matte foundations, or even with glowy foundations. If you just want to keep that glow, if you just want to keep that moisture into the skin, it definitely adds moisture. It feels moisturizing, it feels very comfortable on the skin. Now, I think that this product is very useful if you, for example, wake up very early in the morning, like you wake up at 5-6 a.m. in the morning and you do your skincare, and then a few hours later you want to apply your foundation and you want to go out, then your foundation is probably not going to look its best. You have to apply something. You have to apply some kind of primer, or you have to apply some kind of moisturizer so that your foundation is going to look a little bit better. So for this purpose, this primer is absolutely excellent. So you did your skincare, the skincare is soaked into your skin, it's been a few hours, you had air conditioning, so your skin starts to feel a little bit dry. Your foundation is not going to look its best if you apply your foundation directly. So if you apply a little bit of this primer, your foundation is going to look so much better and it's going to last longer. This is the case where I would say that this primer is a must-have, but you can use also some moisturizer. So for this kind of foundations that are more matte, I think this primer is absolutely gorgeous. So I definitely find that when I use this primer, I need less foundation. So I'm just going to apply this right here. And I'm going to apply foundation only on this part of my face, and on this part I'm only going to apply the powder so that you can see like the difference. And I like to smooth this foundation with my fingertips because I don't have a clean brush, guys. That's the only reason why I'm using my fingertips. I clean them like every day. And sometimes when I don't clean them, I end up not having any brushes. Okay guys, and now you can see half face with foundation, and I did apply just a little bit, but you can still see the difference that this side is a lot more perfected than this side. And this side is without foundation. You can still see here some marks that I have. Excuse the noise, you guys, this was the air conditioning. I didn't realize that the air conditioning was on. So anyways, moving on to the powder. With this powder, I'm absolutely blown away. I love it as much as I love my beloved Givenchy Prisme Libre, but I think that this powder is suitable for all skin types. So even if you have dry, dehydrated skin, I think that this powder is going to work beautifully on any skin tone. I have been wearing this powder for the past 10 days and I have to say that I'm addicted. Now this powder is definitely going to be, I will keep repurchasing this powder. The only downside that I find of this powder is that it has a very, very fashionable, so to say, or very fancy packaging. I have this powder in the shade Lavender, which is a universally flattering shade. So this powder contains water, but it doesn't feel like the By Terry hyaluronic powder. It contains water, and I can definitely feel that this powder is not drying to my skin. It also doesn't keep my skin absolutely matte. So it mattifies my skin right after applying it, but 2 hours later, my skin looks glowy, but without being oily, which is something that I absolutely love. So this powder, I will keep repurchasing this powder for as long as it's available, and this is a great release from Dior. The only downside is that I cannot easily get the powder because when you close the cap, it's basically like a cushion. So when you close the cap and you turn it upside down and you tap, the powder doesn't come out. I'm having a hard time. You shouldn't close the cap completely. The cap should be a little bit open, then you turn it upside down. That's what I do. And I just tap so that I can get the powder here on the cap. This is the only downside, but I absolutely forgive Dior because the packaging is so beautiful. Okay guys, and this is how my skin looks. I am quite happy with the results, and to be honest with you, I'm actually quite happy with this result as well. Of course, if I want to feel a little bit more perfect, if I want to look a little bit better, I would definitely use foundation on top of the primer. But even if you decide, even if you don't, if you're generally happy with the condition of your skin, you can just use these two products and they look beautiful used together, and I feel a long-lasting hydration, and my skin right now has been craving a long-lasting hydration, so this primer gives me a lot of comfort. I am definitely going to keep repurchasing the powder. I absolutely love it. I'm very happy that I've chosen the lavender shade. I absolutely love this primer as well, but I don't see myself repurchasing the primer just because I'm not a primer person. I rarely use primers, and even though I really like it, it's an excellent product, I don't see myself repurchasing the primer. But the powder, absolutely outstanding. So that was all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe for more videos like this and for more luxury beauty reviews. I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, bye!